Mic check, 1 2 1 2. What's up, guys? It's Sam, or the Portuguese Mofo here, and figured I'd do another replay. This one was from a little while back against C4. Based off of what I wrote, right? Costly loss. I feel like I was implying it was close. So we'll see. We'll see how it unfolded. I don't specifically remember the fight, but it was on Kanto Plains, obviously. And let's look how it went. Right, C4, high quality player. So let's get a little analysis here, a little study in here, right? And he has a Follow the Samurai army, right? Which can be tough to go against for sure with vanilla. Right, guns are tough. They don't care about armor or any of those things. And if you just effectively, it's where the terrain becomes exceptionally important. And this is a flat map, which is very nice for the guns, right? In many ways, but there's little pockets around that if you move appropriately, right, you can get cover and hide from gunfire while you move. So, and yeah, even as I just overlook things right now, I can't say the memory of how this battle unfolds is coming back to me, but we will see how it unfolds. Anyways, let's get into the army compositions, right? So I have Naginata Warrior Monk Cav here on my left flank with mounted gunners, a fire cav, and Yari cav. So heavy cav contingents here, right? I've got my general, who's a bow general. I wonder where I was at this time as far as stars go. It looks like I'm still pretty early in the game. I didn't even look at the timestamp from when we played, but on the right flank here, right, I got light cav and 2 Yari cav. So strong cav force here, right? I think I use my mounted gunners quite effectively in this match. Now that I'm sitting here talking about the army compositions, maybe some of the memory is coming back, and I think I do a lot of work with them, obviously on this side, right? But I think they are a unit that survives late into the battle. We'll see if my memory is returning. Anyways, so over here on my left flank, I got the Yari Ashigaru with some warrior nuns. Okay, on the right flank here, I got warrior nuns with another unit of Yari Ashigaru. So interesting here. Brought the warrior nuns. I definitely don't bring them a ton, but they're here. And then I've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 katana samurai. So, and then for C4, right, he's got the Follow the Samurai army, of course. So he's got Spear Levy here on the right flank. He's got one. So let's see how many red bears. One. So just one red bear. One red bear. One white bear. The Royal Marines. Okay, he's got 1 2 3 4 Black Tortoise Force, and another Spear Levy. So 2 Spear Levy in total. Oh, and I missed these United States Marines over here, and another white bear. So 2 white bears, Royal Marines, and United States Marines. Powerful units there. So then he's got his General's Bodyguard, who is a melee general. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And if I had to guess, probably with leadership stuff too. With some, if I had to guess. And then he's got 1 2 3 units of Yari Ki. I would not be surprised if there was another one hidden, although I do not recall. So anyways, let's get into it. Right, we have the farmhouse and the workshop. So armor and movement speed. Armor is definitely the more important one here, but movement speed, right, with an army like mine is definitely helpful. So right, he's going to move his cav up just to make sure to challenge. It's one of those things. I think the simple way probably to describe it, why one of the reasons why you do this is just instant challenge, right? Cav can't cap, but I do think they would keep me from capturing it, right? Because they're inside the zone. Someone can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's the case. So, right, moving my Cav. But gotta be careful of the guns here, right? He's got, oh, the Boki. I guess I missed them. But yeah, I think it's a good unit. Sometimes I bring. Obviously, I wonder if it's not a veteran unit, so it might have been an efficiency move. Nope, it does have one veterancy, so. Yeah, I don't know if I've used any. I don't remember if I've used any Boki, but take a charge right into these white bears, and I'm gonna get a decent charge. Not bad. A little too blobbed here, right? Would have been nicer if I was a little more spread out. Again, that's one thing I do have to get better at. I tend to get a little blobby at times, right? Moving these Naganatas around the flank, right? So I've got the Cav advantage pretty big here, so taking this on and winning, right? But able to get the Cav up, okay. They got diced up pretty good. Alright. We're just going to start getting these shots. Yeah, this isn't great. Stopping here. Yep. I wish I didn't do that, but, you know, life goes on, right? You know, it's as weird as it sounds, right? I just keep moving, right? They're shooting. Just standing there getting shot does no good. In this instance, right, like I brought a rush-type army. I thought I brought my Cav back, but they were actually routing. And look at this. This was a foolish move on my end, right? Got caught up in what was going on and didn't even bring up my avatar, which is tough, right? You know, I don't have a leadership avatar. He's a bow gen, and right, you can already see my morale is struggling. It's this balance, right? Because he's a bow, it's a skirmish type. But being close to my units to help their morale, right? With my veterans, I did put a lot of morale with like that knowledge, right? That I wasn't doing a leadership gen. But yeah, as we can see here, right? Just got a lot of units routing. Those guns got them, but I'm gonna stay in the fight here, right? My Cav is doing good here on the left flank. You know, I lost that. You know, they got pretty beat up. Getting shot pretty good by these red bears. We are going to get into them, but right, they can keep shooting down this side. Right, that's a really big thing with the any gun units, right? In guard mode, they're holding their ground. Like one side can be engaged in the fighting, and the other guys will continue to shoot until you get right. It's like I got like halfway through the unit, and then it's like they all pulled their swords out. Again, I think, right, that's the case. I'm guessing he had them in guard mode, which helps that process, right? But we're going to charge back in over here on my right flank, okay? Right, just using my Cav, right? We got some routers, okay? These mounted gunners, you know, putting in a decent fight, 120 kills, okay? Now, mounted gunners, especially in vanilla, I know a lot of people, they can definitely be the most effective unit on the battlefield if microed really well. But I mean, against a Fall of the Samurai army, it's like no big deal. You know, I mean, obviously they can still be used somewhat effectively. I mean, I'm about to lose this battle, right? So saying I use them effectively, but you know, they're still in the fight. You know, 130 kills. Or 120 kills, excuse me. Not great, but they're in it, you know. Finally got my general up here. Continue to push, though, right? But this can be the difficulty, right? Wide open map. You know, might have been a little better if I just focused on the right. Didn't really worry about that. As weird as it sounds, I do think the Cav movement at the start, I was able to get close to his guns, but he did move them back in plenty of time for sure. So here we go. I'm just trying to kind of, if I remember, yeah, I do charge some here. It's like, it doesn't matter, right? I'm surrounded on both sides here. It's like, go one way or the other. Obviously, I try to go both ways. But yeah, here we go. This is going to be rough. Yeah, and I'm trying to run away. Trying, you know what I mean? We'll get into him here, right? But just gonna continue to charge. I throw my katanas. Actually, yep, my katanas into him. Just trying. Oh, are they about to get lit up? No. Looks like they're gonna still shoot them. But here we go. Those nuns are running. He's about to get into me. And that's gonna be all she wrote. Let's see. He's just gonna take shot. No, actually, that's right. He has a melee general. He'll charge his other guys in.
Our men are running from the battlefield. Shameful display!
So yeah, just thinking through some of that, right, and some of the terrain, you know. It's one of those things, like, right, this is just flat all the way through, though. There's a lot of line of sight, even though it's the woods. Yeah, obviously, really good game to C4. And, you know, it's just like one of those things, right? Trying to properly fathom how to, right, how could have I, you know, created the situations and the opportunities for good fights and matchups, you know, just on a map like this, right? It's just, you guys are catching me just kind of trying to think through things in my head, not exactly saying it out loud. And a lot of it's just because, like, yeah, this is just this map and the situation, a tough nut to crack, right? And that was a really strong fall of the samurai army too. So, yeah, but it's part of the fun of this game, though. It's just like figuring out certain things that happened and kind of getting through it. And like I said, I mean, this was a battle I fought a little while ago. So, anyways, I'll end it there. Take a look at the stats, and actually, I might have the timestamp of when we fought it on there. So, we'll see. But yeah, good game, right? Can learn a lot of lessons from a loss. So, and right, and also watching what quality players do, right? It's a good way to learn. So, right, having those in the inventory, right, in the record, going back to them, watching them, give a little analysis, try and figure out, you know, what exactly went down, right? So, right, outnumbered, you know, right, killed me by you know, almost 500 more men, and let's see, yeah, mounted gunners, right, 134 at the end of the day. They did all right, you know, over 100, 242 for those katanas. It's a solid day, you know, 102, 142 from those yaris. The nuns, not great, right? At least they killed more than they lost, but, you know, at the end of the day, it don't matter when you lose. But, yeah. But honestly, two pretty big armies to bring. So, these United States Marines, of course, right, lost 2 guys, 192 kills. Psh, let's go. Marine Corps. So, the White Bears, wow, 239. Good day for those White Bears. 129 from that Black Tortoise Force. 102 from this one. 164 though, right? I was able to that was one of the units I was able to get, right? This Yari key, 243. That's a really good kill count, right? The meta, from what I understand, right, is rank 2, and I think it's both with attack upgrades, right? And here we go, right? Proof's in the pudding sometimes, right? Solid quality, good KDs. So, and then, right, these Royal Marines, actually, you know, I was able to catch them, but 133 kills still. You know, lost more than they killed, but right at the end of the day, a victory is a victory. So, good stuff, good match to C4, and if you come across this, hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed the video, have a good one.